Everyone, coming to you from one of the classrooms that I teach in. I am an English teacher living in Frankfurt, Germany. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm 24 years young, and I'm going to show you what my life is like living abroad overseas as an English teacher so that you can decide for yourself if it's right for you too.
I live in a small studio apartment. Here's the before, and here is the after. After putting my bed together, this is also my couch because the space is just too small. And then here we have a beautiful view of the Hof, which in English means the courtyard. I usually start my day by preparing a little breakfast for myself, sometimes also coffee. But today I am keeping it simple in hopes of going to the gym this morning. So we'll see where the day leads us. On Thursdays, I usually have some time to spare before I teach my classes. So here I am walking to the gym, or so I thought, but instead I ended up going to the mall. So yes, this morning I found myself at Skyline Plaza, a popular mall here in Frankfurt City. And I also treated myself for a cappuccino mit Hafermilch with oat milk and a croissant. Hello everyone, I thought I would just quickly come on here and introduce myself a little bit more. So I am, again, living in Frankfurt, Germany. I have been here for almost 2 years now. So since September of 2023. I came here initially as an au pair, so I was working for a family for the first year that I was here, and then after that I found myself working as an English teacher at a learning center, so that's my current job. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not Friday, yes, Saturday, yes. So I work, my days off are Friday and Sundays. My schedule is a little bit funky. I don't work the entire day. I work like for a few hours each day, teaching classes. And so that's my task for the rest of today, is to teach about 3 classes, prep beforehand, and then I also sometimes teach in German schools to German students around the neighborhood. So yeah. Hi friends, I'm currently walking to work. The weather is not particularly beautiful today. And another thing that I should note is that unfortunately I will not be able to show much of my classes because I think Germans are very strict about how do you say, like, privacy. So I will try my best to show my classroom, but definitely not my students. So yeah, but enjoy. So this is the classroom that I'll be teaching in for the day. As you can see, there's lots of space to jump around, to have some fun teaching English. This is basically where my years of experience is going to come in handy. And so also my TEFL classes are going to come in handy because I've only got 30 minutes to prep before my classes and teach them 3 classes that I've got to prep for in 30 minutes. So we got this. I am back home and ready to answer some questions. So despite the fact that my company provides teachers with everything that they need to teach the classes, such as learning materials, or teaching materials rather, and lesson plans that are already pre-written, as well as just all the resources that we need to teach our classes, I am TEFL qualified and I do have a university degree. I studied English in secondary education for 4 years, and now I am working. So I use all of the experience and knowledge to help me with teaching my classes. Immigrating to Germany was a bit of a taxing experience, as I presume it would be for any country. Yeah, you definitely need to fill out papers and documents, but it just depends on what visa you're applying for. So there's the option of becoming a freelancer. There's the option of applying to receive your work permit, and this is the option that I chose. There's also another option, which is to apply for something called the Chancenkarte, which is it means an opportunity card. So you can come here, depending on what country you're from, you can come here and apply or look for a job for a year, and that's kind of your entryway into living and immigrating into Germany. So I think that's also a really nice way if you don't really know what you want to do, where you want to go. The Chancenkarte is there for you. But at the end of the day, you'll have to fill out documents and paperwork 100%. So if I measured the length of time from which I ended my TEFL course to getting hired for my first English teaching job, it was about a year. I think I could have gotten hired quicker or sooner than that, but it was because I came to Germany initially to become an au pair. I came here working as a nanny, basically, for a German and French family. And then after that au pair visa expired, I then searched for an English teaching job while I was still here, before my visa expired. And it didn't take very long before I found a job, luckily. And I think that's also because I was already here, and that made the process much easier. I was pretty integrated already into German society and lifestyle, but I think this is not a prerequisite if you want to find a job abroad. So I hope that this takeover that I've curated answers this question better than this 60-second video that I'm about to record, just because I feel like living abroad is so multifaceted, especially when you are coming from the States, and especially just being a young person, just anyone who leaves their home country. It's just, there's so much happening. There's the piece of leaving your family and your friends. There's the piece of learning about a new lifestyle and about a culture that is not familiar to you at all. There's also the piece of trying to understand yourself amidst it all, and learning a language that you have no experience with whatsoever. So this has been my experience, but I've enjoyed every minute of it. Of course, there's some moments that have been very challenging, like the language. Sometimes the language is difficult to master, but there's also beautiful moments too. So pros and cons of German culture. I'd say a pro is definitely that Germans are quite direct and straightforward, whereas for me, at least in my experience, I've felt that Americans are less so. We are a little bit more beat around the bush. We don't really get to what we want to say. We find a lot of words to explain ourselves, but I think with Germans, I really appreciate that they are very direct. I think this is both a pro and a con, because I wasn't really used to this at the start, and I think I took a lot of things to heart. But I think also Germany has hardened me and made me to also speak my mind. And yeah, it's not a bad thing. I think we should do it more, and it should be more accepted. So I like this.
So I do not work online as an English teacher. I only work in person. I work in person at the learning center that I work at, and then I also work in person at German schools teaching classes, as I previously mentioned. And I think actually there's a higher demand for teachers to work in person currently in the city of Frankfurt, so I would highly recommend that if you're looking at Frankfurt.
One thing that I absolutely love about living in Frankfurt, Germany, is the fact that I can utilize so many different modes of transportation. For example, I usually bike to work, and if the work week is super stressful, it's super easy to go to a different German city. I can just hop on a train and even take myself to a different country if I wanted to. This is probably one of my favorite parts about living in Germany, especially because this is totally different from what I'm used to back at home in the US. I have really grown to love the city of Frankfurt. Despite the challenge of being so far away from my family and friends, I have been very lucky to meet Germans who have helped make me feel at home. The culture, the food, and the aesthetics in Frankfurt have all made large impressions on me, including the accessibility to travel to different places, such as Luxembourg, France, and even Switzerland. If you want to learn more about me and my story, you can follow my YouTube channel to stay in touch.